Welcome to the Waseca Small Town Big Stories podcast, brought to you by Bird's Eye Foods and Itron. I'm your host, Ann Fitch, the Executive Director of the Waseca Area Chamber of Commerce, where we promote business and enhance community. Today I'm joined at the Suburban Furniture Table by Cindy Colander and Jim Britton from the Waseca Area Neighborhood Service Center and Food Shelf. Welcome, Cindy and Jim.
Hi,
Thank
Ann.
you.
I'm glad to have you two here.
Well, thanks for having us, Ann.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Cindy, you're the new Executive Director of the Neighborhood Service Center.
Yes, I am.
You've been on the job for how many months?
Well, I can tell you I started in June of last year.
Okay, in
And
2023, perfect.
about 8 months, not quite 8 months.
Great.
So pretty new, but it's been quite the experience.
Yes, it has. It's a lot to jump into there. It's much more than just a thrift store and just a food shelf. There's so many programs going on in that building.
Yes, I was not aware of everything that was going on, and once I took the leap and took the executive director position, found out just how much we do serve the community, all the different programs we have. We have the food shelf, the thrift store, but we also have the baskets that we put on Thanksgiving and the Christmas. We've got In a Pinch program, the backpack program, we've got vouchers, the food shelf, we've got several programs that go on through the food shelf for the seniors, and just whatever else comes our way, we're there to help.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about a couple of those programs in just a minute. Now, Jim, you've been volunteering with the food shelf and the Neighborhood Service Center for quite some time. How many years have you been a volunteer and a board member there?
Well, I've been a board member probably for about 9 years. Started when I actually owned my own business, Britton Plumbing, and did a lot of volunteering there and did a lot of service calls and
Yeah.
did them as gratis. And they got me involved, and Jurg Peters asked me to be on the board, and I agreed to do it.
Jurgen Peters has a way of getting people wrangled into a lot of different things.
That's right. He did a good job, and he was director for, or not director, but
A board member there.
board member for years there.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. That's great when you can have a great leader like Jurgen, get other great people involved like yourself, Jim, and take over. And I'm sure that when you become Jurgen's state, when he got you involved, that you'll get someone else involved.
Yep.
You'll bring somebody else in. Now, tell me, Cindy, about you mentioned a program. The backpack program. Talk
Yes.
a little bit about that program. I know it's been around quite a long time, and talk about the impact about that program, what it is, and how long it's been going on, and the impact it has on our community.
Sure. Well, what I see in the archives is that the program started in 2009. And until just last year when I came on board, that the program served the kids in the Waseca Public Schools, kindergarten through grade 6. And the backpack program is where it's non-perishable foods that we work with the counselors at the school, and they don't give us any names. They give us numbers and say, these are how many kids are going to face food insecurity over the weekend. So what can we do to help these kids out? So we get together a pack of food, non-perishable, and it is packed into some bags that are taken to each of the schools, and that's distributed by a group. The counselors give those to the kids to take home over the weekend. When I came on board in June of last year, the board then had decided to go up to grade 12 and then include the team and Sacred Heart as well. So our numbers, in essence, almost doubled. We are now at 275 bags that we do each week.
Wow.
And that is enough to get the kids through the weekend with some nourishment. We give them like 2 staples, maybe some mac and cheese, some SpaghettiOs, ramen, just things that kids will eat.
Yeah.
Some cereals that they can open and they can eat. We have some snacks. We've got some fruit cups that we send home. And we just ordered some little peanut butter snacks that we're going to be sending home. And we just hear that it really helps them because they come back to school with more energy, eager to learn, and we just love the program. And the counselors and the kids love the program too.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure, and that's fantastic because you can't learn, you can't concentrate on an empty stomach.
Right.
You really can't. And talk about the items that are in there, because I'm sure there's always folks who are going to say, "Oh, well, ramen and mac and cheese, those aren't healthy foods," which they are not. But there's a point where you got to give kids what they're going to eat.
Right. You have
know.
to give them what they can eat. And if you order things that are really, I'm going to say nutritious, which we wish we could. We wish we
Sure.
could have just
Sure.
super healthy foods, but we found that in the past that the kids weren't even opening them. Mm-hmm. So in order for them to eat what we send home, they have to like it.
Yeah, just like any kid,
Yes,
they got to like it.
that's right.
And easy to make too. If, I assume if you're sending those backpacks home, possibly mom or dad might be working over the weekend. If that's something they can make, I mean, Easy Mac is easy for a reason.
Right.
So if that student can make that on their own, then that's the whole point of that.
Yep, and we have sent home like the easy to open chicken noodle soup, things like that too, and we look for buying those in big quantities as well.
How do you source the food that goes into those backpacks? Is that something that Jim and your volunteers help out with, or how do you get the products that go in there?
We try to purchase what we can through actually the school system because we are able to order in bulk from them. And so lots of the items like the fruit cups and the snacks and some other items come through the school. And so we order through them and they get delivered then to the food shelf.
Okay.
And we also look for the best deals we can on the other items that are the protein items, like the spaghetti. We also do like SpaghettiOs with meatballs.
Cool.
And the mac and cheese and the ramen. We just look around for good deals. And we ask our partners in retail if they're able to give us a good deal. And we did get quite a few chicken and noodle soups from our partner, Hy-Vee partners in Owatonna and Mankato. So when I called them and asked them if we could order 1,000 cans of soup, they said, we'll see what we can do. So they gave us what they could because they were limited in supply too. And so we just kept going and getting them and getting as many as we could at a really good price to put into those packs.
That's fantastic. You have those the partnership with the school and the partnership with those corporate partners as well, just to get those backpacks filled.
Yes, and we do order some of the product too through our Food Source Channel 1, and they're our food shelf supplier. So sometimes they'll have some good deals too, where we do get some puddings for the kids too, because they do like that kind of stuff too.
See, I don't think a lot of people realize that there's a food shelf supplier that supplies food shelf called Channel One, and that's a big food warehouse. Is that up in St. Paul, or where's that located?
That's out of Rochester.
And in Rochester, okay.
Yes. So we purchase food that we supply in our food shelf to our clients, and that is our biggest supplier that they're able to give us in quantity. So we are able to stock our shelves a little bit deeper just based on the quantity that we can purchase through them. We get it at a reasonable cost.
Okay, so what percentage would you say of the food in the food shelf is Channel One food versus local donations?
I would say we're looking at about 70% that we purchase.
Okay.
I know last year when I came on board, our Channel One supplier had a really hard time keeping up with protein products that we were able to get from them. So then we looked at suppliers here, and we bought like chicken and hamburger products through local suppliers here.
Okay.
And they gave us as good a deal as they could. And that is something we're always looking for, good deals. And as far as donations, we always appreciate donations.
Yes.
And anything that we can give to our clients that come into the food shelf, we really appreciate that. But we do want to say too that donations monetary are always accepted too.
Sure.
Just with our buying power that we have through like Channel One, we are able to purchase probably twice as much product through them as if you went to your regular grocery store and bought it yourself.
Okay. So just your dollar goes so much further
Yes.
via Channel One, even though the donations of the food is fantastic, and you're never going to turn down protein for sure.
No.
Heck no. Those protein donations are so coveted,
Yes.
but the cash donations do go so far. Now, when you get those loads in from Channel One, who's stocking the shelves at the food shelf? I know I see the muscle over here, Jim. He's loading those shelves a lot. So what happens when that food comes in from Channel One? What happens
I'll
then,
let you
Jim?
step in there, Jim.
Well, Gary over there,
That's a tall fella.
you know,
Yep.
he's always there when the truck comes and make sure he's there, and he'll have me come up or other volunteers to help him bring it in the building and sort it out and put it in the freezer or cooler or wherever it has to go. But usually there's several pellet loads, fairly big, and we roll them in the back door and put them on shelves, or we put them in our where we store stuff till the shelves are empty, and then we'll refill them.
Now the need is great in our county,
Yes.
as you obviously know. How long does it last? If you get if your shelves are stocked on a Tuesday, how long does it take for those to go low?
Well, they're usually stocking every day a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, we have racks along the walls, and if they get a little low, whoever's working, or we have volunteers that come in. We have a fair amount of volunteers that help, and if we see we're short of canned beans or corn or anything, they'll put it on the shelf. And cereal's a big help up there for us. And,
Okay.
And the kids did do a fundraiser at school for it. I was there when they brought it that day. It was
that was great.
unbelievable.
That's great.
2 trucks come up there with cereal. And they went to the school and set them up like dominoes. Gary went down there that day, and I don't know who else went with him, but they set them up as dominoes, and the kids went nuts when they hit the first one. I think
They set the cereal boxes up like dominoes and pushed them down. That's pretty cool.
And the school's been great for raising money like that, and other organizations. It's just fun to be there and help.
What's crazy is those kids don't even realize that they are raising money for their classmates, and they don't understand that. I think that's really fantastic that they don't understand that. Actually, they're just raising money, and they're raising cereal boxes, and they're helping their community.
Yes.
What are the hot items to donate? Like, what are the things that that your clients they love? Aside from the obvious staples of meat, bread, milk, flour, things of that nature. What are the things that people just go nuts for?
We like pasta products. So if we can get in the spaghetti or pasta, we get in the pasta sauce. That's always an easy thing for people to make. Peanut butter. Peanut butter is nutritious. That's something that we're not able to get a lot, and we would really like to keep on our shelves.
Okay.
Even like canned meat, like even Spam or tuna. Tuna, you can make sandwiches.
Sure.
Mayo, that's something that we can't get, but if somebody wants to make some salads with the pasta,
Yeah.
because we can provide some of the items for the rest of the salad, but
Yeah.
maybe the mayo isn't something that we can keep in stock, or else it's just it's not cost effective for us to keep it in stock.
Yeah, are condiments kind of under-donated? Is that something
They
that
are.
people don't think
Yes.
about? Because I suppose if you want to have tacos or hamburgers for an evening, mustard, ketchup, and pickles, and taco sauce and sour cream maybe are not always donated.
Right. Oh,
But
yeah, great.
yeah, who's having hamburgers or tacos with all those things?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think sometimes we're all too eager to donate our cans of soup and, like you said, your pastas and things like that. We don't think about all those things that go with
Yes.
our meals.
Yes.
So a well-rounded donation is needed.
Well, I will say that last year in our food shelf, we were able to supply over 7,000 people in
Holy
families with 137,000 pounds of food.
137,000 pounds.
Over 137,000 pounds
Holy
of food.
cow, Cindy.
Yeah. So, when you're asking how far these donations go, if you take that, I know that we did have a really nice food fundraiser from one of the area churches earlier in the year when I came on board, and it was over 1,500 pounds, and almost everything, our shelves were really low. So we were able to put that all out almost at once. When I went to the food shelf 2 days later, it was almost all gone.
Jeez.
So that was 750 pounds, let's say, a day.
Yeah.
So we go through a lot.
That's a tremendous impact for our community.
Yes.
That's a tremendous impact. And there was another program. Name the other programs that you.
Well, we have In a Pinch.
In a Pinch. That was the one that was unfamiliar to me. Talk about In a Pinch.
In a Pinch is a program that we're able to provide assistance for families when they've had unexpected expenses.
Okay.
And those expenses could be that they found out that they're going to have a medical issue, that they need to go to Rochester and have some testing done. Well, they don't have enough gas to get there. So we are able to provide a voucher for gas. We work with Box Service Station, and we give them either between $20 and $40 of gas voucher to go and get their car full of that much gas to get over to their doctor's appointment, where they're showing us that, yep, we have this appointment at 9 o'clock at Rochester tomorrow for this scan. We just can't make it. Can you help us?
Sure.
So we're able to do that. We also have helped people with some of their utility bills. And we work with the city of Waseca because, mostly the city of Waseca, because people have to be in Waseca County in order to qualify for us to be able to help with this type of assistance. And minimum, let's say, car repairs, if they're needing some tires, maybe we can work with one of the shops in town and help them get a couple tires. We limit how much we're able to give just so we can help as many people as possible, because we do have a budget, and so we want to make that budget go as far as we can. So we try to limit it to maybe $250, but yet that's a lot of what people are looking for, and they just can't afford. And one of the stories that I like to tell is when I first came on as director, I'd only been there for maybe 2 weeks, and I did have a retired couple come in that they had some unexpected expenses come up. And both of them had health issues and living on Social Security benefits. And they were so afraid that they were not going to be able to meet the need to keep their fuel oil full for the winter. And we had to go ahead and help them, or we didn't have to. I should say we were so happy to help them because they had never experienced anything like that, where they were so afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
But I said, don't be afraid to ask for help. We're here to help you, and this is something we can't say enough, that this is why we're here. And they both were so appreciative. We were all crying in my office, and they also were able to go down to the food shelf. So we were able to assist them with some food needs too. But just the little bit that we were able to help them with was so they could keep their fuel tank on their property. They were able to start fresh, and then we were able to help them and assist them with food to come into the food shelf and get them back on their feet. And they were just so appreciative, because when you're living on a fixed income and there were some other expenses that come up, where you've got medical bills that you weren't able to take care of, that's what that program is there to help out for.
What a sense of relief you gave to that couple. I mean, that's worth so much more than $250. Holy cow.
Well, that's the best part of my job.
Yeah.
Is that where you can see that the need is there, and we offer the services that people that really need them we can help them.
Yeah, absolutely. You do. It's such a difference-making organization that both of you are part of. I'm gonna veer off just a little bit, and then we're gonna come back to the programs because this goes into what you just said. How do you deal with kind of the amount of strife and grief that you deal with so much in your job? Because it's a lot of heavy situations that you deal with. It's a lot of trauma that you are surrounded by with the amount of need that people come to you with, the amount of stories that are unpleasant that you have to work through. Like you have to listen to people's stories of need,
Yeah.
and you're there to help them. Maybe when they've fallen in between the cracks of other social programs, and maybe they don't qualify for this, they make maybe just a little too much money for that, and they don't qualify for that, so they've come to you for help, and so you have to take that on. And I know Jim is a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve, and that's great, and I love it. But so how do you kind of recover and rebound from that? Because having to deal with that for 8 hours a day, or however long your volunteerism hours are, that takes a toll on you and your staff and volunteerism. So, what do you do to kind of re-energize yourself? Even though this is a very rewarding job, which it is, it's a difference-making job. It also has a toll on you. So can you talk a little bit about that and how that works into your daily life?
I'll let you start, Jim.
Well, to see families come in there and do get food at the food shelf and appreciate it. There was a young family in there last summer, and give them food, some rice. We give them chicken and everything else, and the little girls even thanked us before they left. Mother thanked us. That's why I do it. That's all I got to say on that one.
Yep, that's the kind of stuff that recharges you, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, and what Jim is saying too is that you think about those stories where you can help the people, and even though it's tough to hear, you're grateful to be where you're at, and you're able to be in the position that we have the resources to help that person.
Oh gosh, yes.
And there are some days where it is hard. I mean, I will be very honest and say you go home and you think about it. And some days it is hard to forget.
Yeah.
But you move on, and I'll say I pray about it, you know, and just say and hope for the best for that family, and that things will turn around.
Yeah, yeah. And you hope that you either see them get into a better situation throughout the months or years that they come to you for assistance, or you hope that you don't have to see them there again.
Yeah.
Yep.
One thing that we do is we also help the Bethlehem Inn.
Yeah.
And when they come in lots of times without anything, and so we're able to assist them with a voucher in the thrift store.
That's great.
And they come in, and we're able to give them some clothing. They pick it out, and then maybe they're going to be setting up some kitchen in there where they're going to be, and so we help them with some kitchen items, maybe a little side table or something, and we give them so much that they can use, and then they take that with them. But one of the stories where I happened to see someone where they came in and they were really down, going through a bad situation, and I saw how they were evolving because they came in, and within like a couple of months, how much happier they were and how much their life situation they were getting settled in to like a new life. And that really energized me like for the week, because it was just so neat to see how their life had been improving and where they were at and how they were making it a better life for themselves and their child.
That's fantastic. Those wins have got to make you feel good and really make you excited about coming in every day.
And I'll continue with that with one story, because I was in Sam's Club and bought ramen noodles, and the lady says, "What are you doing with 4 cases of ramen noodles?" I says, "Well, I'm on the board over here." And she says, a year and a half before that, she was at the food shelf and thanked me for what I was doing.
You never know when someone's going to need those ramen noodles.
Well, I want to kind of segue back to the backpack program
Yeah.
because I want to mention the kids from the Southwest Metro program from the high school, Diane Ressler.
Oh, yeah, it's a great program.
Yes, and
Great kids.
they come down and they actually do the packing
Mm-hmm.
for the backpacks, and they're the ones that deliver them to the schools. But they now are our friends because they're 4 days a week. So when I come down, I make sure I come down from my office almost at least twice a week when they're there packing. And so when I come in there, hi. And when Jim comes in, Jim's got a friend. But it's just, I think that's rewarding for both of us too, that we can see just how happy it makes them because they know that they are helping, and they're just so happy to have that job to come to, and they know that what they're doing is important. Mm-hmm. And I know Jim makes them laugh. So that's probably why they want to come, Jim, because
One of the young men and him, me and him, been not going at each other, but, well, you better go sit in the corner. So I went and sat in the corner on a pail the other day, and I said, you better. And then when he left, he says, the staff there, you give him another 15 minutes.
Some good Jim Britton banter.
But I enjoy talking to those kids. They always got to say hi, like you said. They're so happy-go-lucky and come in, and they're just a blast to see. And they're typical brothers and sisters. If one can wasn't in there, the other one, I don't think you put that in. And it's just like when we
Yes.
grew up, and I guess they didn't. So they put a can.
They're
in.
keeping an eye on each
Yes,
other,
they
making
are.
sure they fill those backpacks right for those kids.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good. And the Santa Anonymous program has been running for, oh my gosh,
20 years.
20,
I hear.
yeah, I was going to say it's got to be 25, 20, 30 years somewhere in there. Huge kudos to Tay and Todd,
Yes.
especially
Yes.
Tay. I know she works her tail off to getting so many donations for that. The boxcar has been so integral in raising funds for Santa Anonymous since its inception, I believe.
Yes.
They have just been doing a wonderful job. How many families does that impact each year? And I know that you've been through just one cycle of it so far, but that's just a crazy good program for this community.
Yes. I just got the numbers from the two gals that are the ones who distribute the presents, and there was 265 kids that they were able to help this year
Holy
that went through
cow.
that program.
265 kids from
Yes.
Santa Anonymous this year. Wow, wow, wow.
Yes.
That's fantastic. It's fantastic in one respect. Wish we had less of a need in the other respect.
Yes.
You know,
Yep. But it's a first for me to go and see how it's set up. It's also a first for me to go to the auction this year. And
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Yeah, talk about the auction.
Yeah. Well, the auctioneer knows how to get people into bidding wars.
Good.
And walks around with the items, and very unique items. And it's like any other auction, but
I have a hard time believing that an auction at the boxcar is like any other auction.
well, it's a little bit louder than the ones that I've been to on a Saturday morning.
Sure,
But,
sure.
Yeah, they get into spirited bidding wars.
Good.
And it was just all for such a good cause, that they're just bantering back and forth, and they know it's going for a good cause, and they've got some really cool stuff that people donate.
Yeah.
And, we find if we get in some really unique stuff that we know that would be a good auction item too, we make sure that that's where we're going to put it and put it on that auction to help raise some money for that program.
That's fantastic. How much was raised this last year?
Over 30,000 again.
Oof, 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 oof. That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic numbers.
It is.
Now, what does each child get when they are a recipient of Santa Anonymous?
What is on the application, the parent puts down what, kind of like the wish list of what
Sure.
they wish that they could get. And the the gals that go in ahead and get the gifts, because that is handed off to Todd's team. There are a couple of gals that go ahead and do the shopping for that.
Wow.
And they sometimes will do some gift cards, but otherwise they try to get things that the children have that are on the application. That's why we try to get that application to them several weeks before the parents come in to shop.
Okay.
And each child, I believe, or each family gets a quilt, which the churches
Wow.
donate.
Each kid gets a quilt?
Yeah.
Holy
I should
cow.
say family.
Well,
and
yeah,
then,
family.
And a board game.
Oh,
Or
cool.
some kind of board game each family gets. Then there's always the necessities of like the socks, but they also do like PJs, Christmas
Love it.
PJs.
Love it,
and
love it,
so
love it.
on the application, they'll say what size do your kids wear,
Yeah.
and do they have like a favorite theme?
Yep.
You know, so they try to find something that the kids will like in that area. But then it also is something that the kids put down. Maybe they want some kind of car or a truck or a doll or a certain game. You know, when you get into video games, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
So they pretty much stay away from anything like that, because especially when you get into the teen years,
It's
you know,
a
even
little
though
trickier.
even though you should be most kids are so appreciative of anything they get, but you know, if it's a certain Xbox game that they had wanted and they weren't able to get it,
Yeah.
you know, so that's where some of those gift cards come into play.
Is there a dollar amount per kid like limit, or is it a per family dollar amount limit that is spent, or how does that work?
They look at the big picture and they try to keep the dollars. I think, Jim, you have to help me out on this one a little bit more.
I
Do
think
you
it
know
depends
her?
how old they are too
I
and
think
stuff.
Yeah.
Ages.
I would think so.
Because they have stuff for younger kids and older kids. And,
Yeah.
And I really don't know the amount that they allow, but
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's part of your committee's purview. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, oh, every kid's getting an PS5 or something like that, an
Yeah.
Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like most every kid isn't getting that. Got it.
Yeah,
Got
or
it.
a new iPhone or no.
Correct.
No,
Correct.
if
There-
that's on the list, so I'll just if I'm helping them with the application, I'll just say, you know, that's really nothing that there's going to be room for that to be provided. So let's think a little bit more in general.
Sure. They're having regular Christmases like every other kid.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's just such a tremendous program, and it's so neat to see it has gone on this long in Waseca, because I have not heard of another community that has something that is similar to the National Toys for Tots in their community. So just huge applause to the Neighborhood Service Center for keeping that program going all these years. And I don't see it stopping. With the support of the boxcar in the community, I really don't see it stopping. So thank you. Thank you for keeping that going.
Yeah, because there are some families that will come in. There was a mom, and she had 3 kids, and she had her vehicle stuffed full of toys. And she said, "This is for the Santa Anonymous program. I'm teaching my kids to give back." And so she had them help bring all the toys in. And she said, that's just our service, that we're fortunate for what we have, and I want to teach my kids that not everyone is as fortunate. And this is one way I feel they help pick out toys, you know, like for their age group. And this is something that they would like. And so that was something that she brought. And so that was some gifts that she donated to the Santa Anonymous program.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. There should be more parents and families like that.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
great to see. That was really rewarding.
I love it. What is the newest program that is at the Neighborhood Service Center and Food Shelf?
I would say the newest program that I believe was added was the Lutheran Social Services that comes in with the frozen meals twice a month.
Okay.
And that is limited to seniors 60 and over.
Okay.
But Lutheran Social Services brings in a refrigerated truck, and they have freezer meals in there that seniors can pick up. You just have to fill out an application, and you present your card when they're there. And
What card?
it's a card that Lutheran Social Services just has validated that you are over or 60 or older.
Got it. So
And
once
it's got
you've-
your name on it.
So once you've filled out the paperwork, you get a card the first time,
Yes.
and then you just present your card thereafter. Okay.
Yes. And then you can get like 2 bags of frozen meals and take them home for
Oh.
the seniors.
How cool.
It's very cool.
That is really cool.
I had a neighbor that was homebound and asked me if I could sign her up.
Yeah.
And I said, I will certainly try it and do that for you, and I'll bring them.
Yeah.
And she told me the next time I saw her, like a week later, she said, those are the best meals. And they're so convenient because they're nutritious, and I just need to pop them in the oven, and they're done. And they're a full meal for the seniors.
60 plus, you said twice a week or twice a month?
Twice a month.
Twice
on
a month.
Wednesdays, yes.
Twice a month on Wednesdays. They can sign up
And
for
you
the
can-
frozen meals.
Yes.
60 plus.
So we really have nothing to do with it.
No.
Theoretically, they park in the parking lot.
But you're just the drop off
We're
location.
the drop-off
But
spot.
still, having you be the spot is a service in itself. That's fantastic.
And it's first come, first serve.
Yep. And so when they're out, they're out. And is it the first and third Wednesdays or which Wednesdays?
Yes.
First and third Wednesdays of the month.
Yeah, from 2 to 3.
From 2 to 3. I love it. We're approaching March here, and March is a big month for food shelves. You talk about Minnesota Food Share Month.
Yes. I'm excited.
Yes, you should be. You should be.
am.
So depending on whenever someone's watching this, what goes on in March?
There is a huge food campaign, and it's called the March Campaign for Stocking Your Food Shelf.
Yes.
And it's called Food Share. It is through GMCC organization. They're in the 43rd year.
Wow.
And what I'm excited about is that once you sign up, they go by how many people you served last year, plus how many pounds of food that you were able to give out last year. And then for everyone that brings in a food donation or a monetary donation in March, we report back to them. And based on how much we get in, the more we are able to get in pounds and monetary donations, the more that they're going to give back to us in a donation after the campaign is over for additional funds. So the more that we can have people give in March, the more that we're going to be able to get from an outside source to help buy food for our food shelf.
Okay, so the more money and the more items,
Yes.
you're going to get that back twofold, threefold?
Yes,
Twofold?
we hope twofold.
Okay, we hope twofold.
Yeah, it all depends on how much the sponsorships have given and then
Okay.
how much we get in.
Okay.
But I know that the more that we were able to report to them as far as how many people came through last year was 7,669 people, and then that 137,000 pounds of food. Yes, too many numbers to
Yes.
remember.
You're right.
Yeah, you're doing good.
And then they calculate by how many food shelves, and then they give back to us as much as they can.
Okay, so regardless though, whatever we donate in March, money or items, there's going to be an X factor on top of that. So it's going to go farther in March.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so
So
March everything down to the food shelf next month
Yes.
in March.
I've got a few businesses and individuals have reached out and said they're going to be doing some campaigns. I've sent some things out to the church community, and so I'm just hoping that the more people that when we get the word out, the more people I'll be maybe meeting that challenge or challenging
Yes.
each other to see how much that they're able to raise for us, because I'm going to make sure that on our Facebook page we keep you updated. We're also working on a new website, so
Love
hopefully
it.
in March we'll be able to update you on the website as well.
Yes, I would love for you guys to have a new website. That'd be fantastic.
Yes, we're working diligently. We're hoping to have it up running sometime in March.
That's great. That's great. I love to see that the Food Shelf and Neighborhood Service Center keep moving forward, keep evolving, keep advancing. The new food shelf was just a fantastic thing to see in Waseca. It was long overdue, and just having your two facilities right next to
Yes.
each other, I think, is just it's a blessing not only for your organization, but for the people who use your facilities.
Yes.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. Without volunteers like Jim, it is very hard for nonprofits to survive. As an executive director myself, I understand the valuable the valuableness of volunteers, because they have to be there when you have great ones like Jim. We've got our own Jim at the chamber, Jim Furch. And so,
yeah.
you know, when you need
Yeah.
something, you call Jim.
Yeah.
And so it's always good to have a Jim around. And so I applaud you, Jim, for your dedication to the food shelf, the Neighborhood Service Center, because you need Jims around. And so you've got a great one in Mr. Britton here.
Thank you.
What's next? What's next for the food shelf and the Neighborhood Service Center?
Well, for the food shelf, we are one of 10 food shelves that just got accepted to be in a pilot program.
Ooh.
And what that program is supposed to help us do is try to get more fresh produce into our doors.
Okay.
And so they're going to be coming into our food shelf and doing some site visits, helping us try to get a new layout to work on displaying produce, just helping with our food waste, which really we don't have a lot right now. We're very we're lucky we don't have a lot of waste. That just means that we've got so many people that are using our food shelf that there isn't very much that gets thrown away. Everything goes out the door to people in need.
Yeah.
So we're very excited. We're very excited about that, to see where that's going to bring our food shelf. And hopefully we might even be able to work with the Power of Produce, where, you know, they are at the farmers market and they give out the vouchers to the kids on Saturdays. And
Neat program, really neat program.
so that was part of the discussion, that we'd like to work with that in this pilot to see if there's something that we can maybe build something together on that. So excited for that to take place. We just had our first Zoom meeting the other day, so it's in the initial stages, but throughout the year, that's going to evolve and be really good for us.
That's so cool. That's great. I love that. Congratulations on being chosen as one of the pilot
Yeah.
places. That's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
And how are you funded? I mean, I think people just say, oh, people must write checks to just got to be checks, right? People just donate. How are you funded? I mean, is it the sales from the thrift store, or what keeps you going? How can we support you better? What do we do?
Our funding, we try to find as many grants as we can.
Sure.
And we've got some staples. The Waseca Area Foundation has been a great one. United Way has been a great one. We were fortunate to get a grant through ConAgra. We are just getting a donation through Blaze. We are one of seven different nonprofits that they chose. We were the only food shelf. However, that one is all earmarked toward the backpack program.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we're just out there trying to find grants, and like donations is about the only way that we do stay funded.
Okay. So
the-
donations are very, very important.
Yes, very important. That's, we don't charge anyone to come into our food shelf. You know, if you are in need, you come in and all that food is free to take. And as far as the thrift store, what we do there is, we do have expenses. I mean, we are a building.
Yeah.
And we do have insurance. We have utilities. We have salaries. And so some of that is what we use to pay those expenses. But we also then are able to do some of the vouchers that we have. And in a pinch, that is also something we just look for grants. But if someone if they had been, let's say that they were in need before, and so they wanted to make a donation toward that specific program, we certainly can accept a donation with like a line item that says needs to go to this program specifically. Because if anybody has something that they really are passionate about at our nonprofit, they certainly can just let us know. here's a donation, but we really just want you to use it toward this.
Yeah.
And we certainly will always honor that. We won't say, well, we think we need it in another location right now. No,
Yeah.
no. If someone wants us to use it specifically for one special thing, we always honor that and put it toward their wants.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's how we're funded.
Yeah. So this really spotlights that donations are extremely important to the Neighborhood Service Center and Food Shelf.
And it's always we're so grateful that normally around Thanksgiving and Christmas, people are generous. And so it seems like that's when people open up their checkbooks and are more generous. And we just want to say we appreciate it so much.
Yes.
But then think of us again when it comes into the summer months.
June, July are a little slow
yes.
for donations.
Because
yes.
when I started last year in June, I walked into the food shelf and our supplier was having a tough time getting us the food that we needed. And I actually was like shocked to see that we had food, but we certainly were not up to capacity of what we were able to give people. And right now, our food supplier is only able to deliver food to us every other week. So we do not get donations every week. We have food that we are able to get from what's called Retail Rescue, which means that there's suppliers like Walmart. We're able to get some donations from Walmart 5 days a week from both Quick Trips. And so we're going to be looking at possibly asking some other retailers in town if they'd want to partner. But I heard that when the grocery stores were here, that just losing that grocery store just made a big difference in the food shelf inventory that we were able to supply for the clients every day.
Sure.
And with the need being up so much from even a few years ago, we are just looking for ways to help stock those shelves
Yeah.
constantly.
Are there any food donations you cannot take? Like what's something that, and I'm sure, somebody makes a hot dish. They can't take that, obviously, but is there anything you just, hey, we can't take that? Or is there an example of that?
Well, one thing we do take during the summer is take vegetables from the gardens.
Okay, so you can
Yes.
take people's garden
Yes.
vegetables.
Yes.
We take a lot.
Okay, so if you have an excess of
Tomatoes,
cucumbers, asparagus.
anything.
Okay,
Yep.
got it.
We can do that, but
I would say maybe if someone, let's say they made homemade beef jerky or something,
Right.
maybe we can't take something
Sure,
like
anything
that.
they homemade processed.
Right.
Homemade process.
Cannot.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if they have a cottage food license, that's maybe a gray area that
That's what I'm saying.
you're not willing to dabble into.
Yeah.
Got it. But if it's let's say they harvested a deer and they had it processed at Morgan's, you could take all of that.
Yes.
So if it's been processed at a professional processing place, you can. Got it. Okay, so really there's not too many things you cannot take.
No.
Okay. So you need those food donations to come in, especially in the summertime.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know, because I think those are things that we don't think about when we're making those decisions on when and what to donate. And those are helpful tips.
Well, that was something I didn't think about until
Yeah.
you're there and you see it, and just to get the word out is kind of our mission.
Yeah. Well, and then also with kids not being in school
Yes.
In June, July, and that backpack program is not there,
Right.
right, in the summer months.
Yeah. No, it's not.
And they're not getting, maybe they aren't taking advantage of the lunch that is being provided, because I think the school still
The school
provides
does,
lunch.
and we hope so. We
Yeah.
hope that they are.
And so if the kids aren't taking advantage of that, they need another source of food.
Mm-hmm.
So the donations need to kind of be propped up in the summer months. This has been spectacular information, because this is just not things that everyone thinks about all the time, and it needs to be brought to the forefront. People need to be aware of it. So I appreciate you sharing this information with us. Before we go, I always got one last question. When you were 17, before kids, before reality, before little Brian was running around, what did you think you were going to do with your life? What were your aspirations and goals? Jim, what did you think before you had that first wrench on a pipe? What'd you think you were going to do?
Well, Vietnam was going pretty heavy, so I joined the National Guard.
Yep.
I was in that for 7 years. After that, my brothers kind of got into the farming where we grew up, and my grandfather, Fred Hargett, brought me in, or I worked at Birdseye at the time, and he brought me in, and Maynard Buellin hired me on the spot, and that's how I got going on that. But I've always loved to help people, even when I was in business. We just tried to treat everybody fair. And one quick story on that, we were putting a furnace in for a lady with Minnesota Valley, and she said, I need a new kitchen faucet. And I says, yes, you do, but they won't pay for it. I says, how about $5 a month? Of course, 30 years ago, they weren't that expensive.
Sure.
And I didn't. And 2 months later, she come out with the cash and give it to me and give me a big hug. That's why I love doing this. I helped somebody that had a divorce and had 3 kids. So
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents worth.
You are absolutely are a helper, Jim. You absolutely are a helper, and we're very fortunate to have you in our community.
Thank you.
Cindy, how about you? When you were 17, what did you think you were going to do?
Well, because I had braces, I had thought I was going to go to school and either be an orthodontist or maybe just a dental hygienist or something to help people to have a better smile. That was my thought. But things changed, and I ended up not going to be a orthodontist, and went into just a whole different realm of work. I got a job at a pharmacy, and I was a pharmacy tech for a while. And so I thought, well, that's working with people, and that evolved into an insurance job where I started working with health insurance for many years, which brought me to this area to work at Federated Insurance. But, as far as my 17-year-old self,
Yeah.
I never envisioned myself being in an insurance career. So,
Yeah.
I think I'll just go back to, I really like the straight smile, and was thinking orthodontist would be a great calling.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that you're bringing smiles to people's faces every day, working the food shelf and making people's lives a little bit better by the work you do at the food shelf and the neighborhood service center. And it's such a valuable part of our community and an asset to our community. And counties that don't have an area food shelf and neighborhood service center or something like it,
We're pretty
They ha-
unique.
we're-
with
we're
everything
very
under
unique.
one roof.
we're very unique, and communities that don't have it, it's a deficit for them, because this really is something special that we have.
And our store up there is tremendous. It
Yes.
looks like a regular
Yes.
retail store.
Yes.
If someone has not been into the thrift store lately, please come and visit. Our store manager and her staff have been doing a great job. And I think if you haven't been there for a while, please come in.
Look at the pictures on the wall. Jersey Boys is on the wall, and I went to that Saturday.
Yes.
And I saw it
So
before I
cool.
talked to you. It's all signed by them all.
Oh, how neat.
It's hanging in the middle. It's very nice store. Barb's doing a great job.
You never know what gems you're going to find there either.
Oh, no, it's some days you go, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, neat stuff there.
They do. We do. And if you're a DIY person, the possibilities are endless as far as picking up things and what you can create.
Tons of fun stuff there. Tons.
Tons.
Yes. And it's well merchandised. It is not a junk store.
Right.
No.
Not at all. That is a nice thrift store. Thrift
Yeah,
store.
no, we make sure when it comes in the door that everything is gone through and it is made, what do I say, sale ready.
Yes.
So you don't see anything that's dirty out on the floor. If any of the clothes has any spots or anything, that does not get put out. Of course, you might miss some, but
Yeah.
it's really something that everyone there that works there, that we pride ourselves in, to keep it as good a merchandise on the floor as possible.
And we have one volunteer that comes in 4 days a week and washes dishes, makes sure if it's a toaster, if it works, or any of that. And,
Oh, that's pretty cool.
and he 4 days a week he's there till noon.
Holy
And then he
cow.
goes home.
And we have a gal too that helped redo. We have a library, and we
Yeah.
redid the library, and we've got the whole sections on adult books, and they're all by category. Then we've got a children's section, and we've got chairs in there. There are some people that come in there almost daily, and you find them in the chair, and they're reading books.
That's so neat.
So it's really fun to see.
What an awesome place. You'll just feel comfortable enough just to come in and hang out. You should be pretty proud of that. You
Yeah.
should be.
We are. We're very proud
Very
of.
proud.
Very proud of the organization that I'm working for too, and I work with first class people. So I just thank you for letting me come into the
Wow.
store.
We are
into
so
their
happy that
director
you are the
position.
director. You are doing a tremendous job. Absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I
The
keep.
board all thinks the same.
I'm still in my honeymoon period.
Well, good. Keep it that way.
Yeah,
Keep it
okay.
that way. Thank you so much, Jim and Cindy, for joining me today. This has just been fantastic. I've just really enjoyed learning more about the organization and been able to share everything with the listeners today. This is just tremendous. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Well, thank you for having us, Ann.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you to our sponsors, Birdseye and Itron. Without them, it would not be possible to share the big stories of our small town. And thank you so much to our production team, Small Town Media and Production. Join us again next time for another episode of Waseca Small Town Big Stories.